Hello, it's original MaRul, and I don't even know what I decided to do here. Um, I guess I'll just set it out. No one I know is streaming. I want to do something. I don't want to go back to Minecraft right now. It is late where I am, and I just kind of want to mess around and do something. And I decided, since nothing else was really going on, I would open up uh ChatGPT and just mess around with it and see what I can get it to say or do. I've done this with a few things, and I don't know, I'm just gonna have fun with it. Just kind of roll with ideas. Uh, Western steampunk setting town names. Ironclad City, Steamville, Copper Canyon, Brassburg, Rusty Ridge, Gearsville, Mechanica, Clockwork Springs, Colville, Chimney Rock, Sprocket Springs, Iron Horse Junction, Cogsworth, Smokestacks Heights, Steamworks Bay, Vale Valley, Piston Peak. That isn't that just from the Cars movies? Gadgetville. What would be a good opening page of a text? Venture in Forgeville. Welcome to Forgeville, a bustling city of industry and invention where steam-powered machines and clockwork contraptions fill the street with their hissing and clanking. You are standing at the entrance of a city, a wrought iron gate bearing the name Forgeville in large, bold letters. The sound of gears and pistons echoes through the air, and the scent of coal and oil lingers on the breeze. As you step through the gates, you are greeted by a bustling marketplace filled with vendors selling all manner of gadgets and gizmos. To your left, you see a towering factory belching smoke into the sky, while to your right, a group of engineers huddle around a complex machine, muttering in hushed tones. The possibilities are endless in Forgeville, where the only limit of those are those of your imagination. Are you ready to explore this wondrous city and uncover its many secrets? Adventure awaits. Okay, so what should I do to get it to populate the next part? Um, what are the stalls trying to sell? Let's see if I can fuse it with my bad. The stalls in Forgeville's marketplace sell a variety of gadgets and gizmos, each one more curious and intriguing than the last. Here are a few examples. Clockwork toys, miniature wind-up animals that walk and play tricks, intricate mechanical dolls that dance and sing, steam-powered tools, devices powered by steam such as drill saws, and hammers that can make any job easier and more efficient. Spectacles and monocles, finely crafted eyewear with various lenses and filters that enhance vision and allow the wearer to see far into the distance or through thick fog. Musical instruments. Mechanical instruments such as pianos, organs, and violins that play themselves and produce beautiful melodies. Automations, life-sized machines that mimic human movement and gestures, such as waiters, bartenders, and dancers. Timepieces, intricate watches and clocks that not only tell time but also display other information such as weather forecasts, phases of the moon, and tidal movements. Prosthetic limbs, advanced mechanical limbs that can replace and enhance a human limb and give greater strength and dexterity. There's just a few examples of many curious items you can find in Forge Hill's marketplace. Do I have any fake limbs to upgrade? It's an however, in the context of a text adventure game, it's entirely possible your character has a prosthetic limb that can be upgraded. Choose to explore modern playing with interactive vendors. You may discover items that enhance your abilities. Missing a gun arm, I look for a cheap but practical mechanical limb. What downside could it have? However, even the cheapest mechanical limb may have some downsides. Here are a few possibilities. Limited range of motion, slower response time, heavier weight, shorter battery life, noisier operation. Just a few examples of downsides for cheaper mechanical limbs could have. As with any decision in a text adventure game, it's up to you to weigh the risks and benefits and choose whatever options makes most sense for your character and their goals. Oh, I haven't. Blunderbuss. A simple I meant to say arm with a hidden one-time use. Crude blunderbuss built in. As you browse the stalls of Forge Hill's marketplace, you come across a vendor who specializes in prosthetic limbs. You explain your situation to the vendor, and they show you a selection of notable mechanical arms. As you examine the arms, you notice that one looks different from all the others. It's a bit rough around the edges, with a few dents and scratches, but it seems sturdy enough. When you ask the vendor about it, they lean in and whisper conspiratorially, "This one's a bit of a secret." but I think it might. This one's a bit of a secret, but I think it will interest you. The vendor reveals a hidden compartment in the arm which contains a crude but effective blunderbuss. They explain that it's a one-time use weapon, but it could give you an advantage in a tight spot. The vendor also warns you that the blunderbuss is not very accurate and the recoil could be quite powerful. If you choose to purchase this arm, you will have a hidden blunderbuss built into your prosthetic limb, giving you a surprise weapon that could catch your enemies off guard. However, you should be aware that it is one-time use and not very accurate. Additionally, the recoil could be quite powerful and potentially throw off your aim or even harm you if you're not careful. It's up to you to decide the benefits outweigh the risks and whether the prosthetic limb is right for your choice for your character. Buy the arm and get it installed. Later, see what is going on in the town. After considering your options, you decide to purchase the affordable mechanical arm with the hidden blunderbuss from the vendor in Forgeville's marketplace. The vendor installs the arm for you, and it takes you a few moments to adjust to the weight and feel. Once you're comfortable with the arm, you decide to explore the town and see what's still going on. You notice the streets are still crowded with people, but there seems to be a sense of unease in the air, many of the locals whispering to each other and casting nervous glances in all directions. As you make your way through the town, you overhear snippets of conversation about a group of bandits who have been causing trouble in the area. Apparently, they've been robbing and pillaging nearby towns, and the people of Forgeville fear that they could be next. You also hear rumors about a wealthy merchant who's rumored to be in town looking to purchase a valuable artifact from a local collector. Some say that the artifact is cursed, while others claim that it holds a key to unlocking great power. Whatever the truth may be, it seems that many people are interested in the artifact and the merchant who seeks it. As you listen and observe, you start to get a sense of the dangers and opportunities that await you in Forgeville. With your new mechanical arm and hidden blunderbuss, you feel ready to face whatever challenge comes your way. So, this is what I kind of like. You can just put in like simple strung along ideas together and it will spit out almost a narrative all of its own. Give me a random outcome to trying to pick up a small object from the lavish artifact seller's stall without paying for it. As you walk through the marketplace, you notice a lavish artifact seller's stall with a small object that catches your eye. Without thinking, you reach out to grab it, and it slips into your pocket, hoping to make off with it without paying. However, as you're just about to make your escape, the seller catches you in the act. They grab your wrist and confront you, demanding that you pay for the stolen item or face the consequences. You try to tuck your way out of it, but the seller is not convinced. They call the local authorities, who quickly arrive on the scene and take you into custody. You're brought before a judge and charged with theft, which carries a penalty of imprisonment and heavy fines. You spend the next several weeks locked up in a small cell, regretting your foolish decision to steal from the artifact seller's stall. However, you're released and allowed to return to the marketplace, but the incident has left a stain on your reputation. You realize that you need to be more careful in the future. The small object you stole turns out to be a fake replica, not worth much at all. You realize that the risk you took was not worth the reward, and vow to be more honest and forthright with dealings from now on. Let's go the Bethesda route. Get recruited by a bandit headhunter in the local bar. As they know I tried to steal something. As you sit in the local bar, nursing a drink and trying to forget about the embarrassment of your recent arrest for theft, you notice a rough-looking individual eyeing you from across the room. They seem to be sizing you up, and you get the feeling that they're up to no good. Suddenly, the individual approaches your table and introduces themselves as a bandit headhunter. They explain that they're on the lookout for skilled individuals who can help them track down and capture bandits who have been causing trouble in the area. Okay, so I was saying headhunter as like talent search, but the AI took it as headhunter as in bounty hunter. That's funny. To your surprise, the headhunter reveals that they know about your recent attempt to steal from the artifact seller's stall. They tell you that they see potential in you and they believe you could be an asset in their efforts to bring the bandits to justice. Despite your initial reluctance, the headhunter offer is tempting. You could use the opportunity to redeem yourself and prove your worth as a skilled tracker and fighter. You also know that the bandits are a real threat to the people of Forgeville, and that capturing them would be a normal and worthwhile pursuit. After considering the offer, you agree to join forces with the headhunter and set out to track down the bandits. You spend several days honing your skills and preparing for the mission. Determined to make the most of your unexpected opportunity. As you set out on your quest, you realize there may be a chance to make a real difference in the world of Forgeville. You're excited to see what challenges and opportunities lie ahead, and you're ready to prove your worth to your new allies. Let's see, which way should I push this? Make a plan to go in alone, undercover, and to join. Make a plan to go in alone, undercover, and pretend to join the bandits. You decide to take a risky approach and go undercover to infiltrate the bandit group that has been causing trouble in the area. You know it's a dangerous mission, but you believe that is the best way to get closer to the bandits and gather valuable information that could lead to the capture. You spend several days gathering intel on the bandits' hideout and studying their habits and routines. You learn that they are a tight-knit group and they're gaining their trust won't be easy. Finally, you feel ready to make your move. You pack some supplies and make your way to the bandits' hideout, pretending to be a rogue looking to join their ranks. You use your charm and wit to win over their leader, a gruff, intimidating individual who goes by the name Blackjack. Blackjack is initially suspicious of you, but you manage to convince him that you are a skilled fighter and tracker who can help the bandits in their endeavors. He welcomes you into the fold and you begin to work alongside the bandits, learning their ways and gathering information on their activities. Over the next several days, you become more and more immersed in the bandits' lifestyle. You start to feel conflicted about your true identity, but you remind yourself that this is all part of the plan. You continue to gather information and bide your time, waiting for the right opportunity to strike. Finally, your chance comes. One night, while the bandits are sleeping, you sneak out of their hideout and make your way back to Forgeville. You report your findings to the local authorities, who use the information to launch a successful raid on the bandits' hideout. Thanks to your efforts, the bandits are captured and brought to justice. You feel a sense of satisfaction knowing you played a crucial role in bringing them down, and that you helped the town of Forgeville make the town of Forgeville a safer place. One explodes due to inventor negligence and everyone dies. Let's throw in a rocks fall, everybody dies. No, I really stumped it. Oh, the inappropriate filter. You write this in a PG and less triggering way. In an unfortunate event caused by a local inventor's negligence, a dangerous explosion occurred in the town of Forgeville. Despite the heroic efforts of many of the town's residents to evacuate and contain the disaster, the explosion resulted in significant damage and loss of life. Local authorities and emergency responders worked tirelessly to help those affected by the explosion and to investigate the cause of the accident. It was later determined that a inventor had not followed proper safety protocols and had failed to adequately test their experimental device before deploying it. The tragic incident serves as a reminder of the importance of following safety guidelines and procedures when working with potentially dangerous technology. In the wake of the disaster, the town of Forgeville came together to mourn the loss of those who had been affected by the explosion and support one another during this difficult time. So it didn't want to kill off the whole town. Uh, Almost the whole town is acceptable, just not the whole town. Okay, I'm gonna start a new one. Hey, I'm just playing around with AI stuff. I really just wanted to take a break from stuff, but still wanted to stream something, so I'm just kind of winging it with an idea I had. What is a name for a game? Or what is a good name for a game about hiding tubers? How about Tuber Hideout or Tuber Quest? Or other options could include Underground Pursuit, Route Retreat, or Tuber Trek. What would be a good setting for a tuber-based collection game called Route Retreat? Let's see what it says. So, for a tuber-based collection game called Route Retreat, a good setting could be a garden or farm. The game could be set in a lush, colorful garden where the player must collect various types of tubers such as sweet potatoes, yams, carrots, and beets. The game could also have different levels or zones within the garden, such as a vegetable patch, a greenhouse, and a root cellar. Alternatively, the game could be set in a rural farm where the player must collect different types of root vegetables grown on the farm. The setting could feature barns, fields, and farmhouses. And the game could include different farming tasks such as plowing fields, planting seeds, and harvesting crops. What about a crossbreeding system? What are some good names for these new tubers? If you have a crossbreeding system in your tuber-based collection game, you could create new types of tubers with unique names. Here are some ideas. Sweet carrots, a cross between a sweet potato and a carrot. Ratty tuber, a cross between a radish and a potato. Beetroot, a cross between a beet and a sweet potato. Carrot turnip, a cross between a carrot and a turnip. Potato pepper, a cross between a potato and a bell pepper. Parnipato, a cross between a parsnip and a potato. Squash pud, a cross between a squash and a potato. Yam bean, a cross between a yam and a green bean. Onionado, a cross between an onion and a potato. Or Celericorn, a cross between celerica and corn. I'm just messing. Like literally, this is I've when people were first talking about ChatGPT, this is what I was doing. I was literally just sitting here and poking it with ideas and just coming up with some weird stuff while people were testing like, oh, what code can it write? Oh, what what can you do with it? I was literally poking it to make like adventure games, D&D stuff, random things. I tried to make it give me a like indie story based on a writer that it should know writing style, but it didn't do that until I had to break it all the way down to what type of writing that person did. Yeah, I'm just asking random questions that push it in directions, because so Chat GPT is a like it said a couple times, it's a narrative AI. It is literally, from my best way I've been seeing what it does is it's like you've given it every book ever written, including like teaching and self-help books, and it's taken like the teaching side, the teaching book sections from every teaching book, and you can literally ask it to help you with anything because it has the idea of how to teach stuff. And actually that's where I see its greatest potential for good, is that like I just threw it some random ideas and I've got a whole like small narrative going already, just based on tubers. Just based on potatoes. Would be a good crops for what would be a good crossbreed name for one with jicama? How do you spell it? Oh, I always spell it with an H, but it's a J-I-C. English. Oh, I've done some things like that with this. What would be a good crossbreed name for one with jicama? Jicama is a root vegetable that is commonly used in Mexican cuisine. You create a new tuber by crossbreeding jicama with other root vegetables. Here are a few name ideas. Hickacarrot, a jicama and a carrot. Hickatato, hickanip, chemnip, hickabeet, hickaroot, hickasquash. So this one, it's not being super imaginative. It's literally just smashing the two words together by putting jicama first. What about a mashup with 3 tuber names? Here are some mashup ideas for 3 tubers. Yam turnip carrot, a cross between a yam, a turnip, and a carrot. Potato celery nip. Parsnip. Sweet potato beet radish. Carrot jicama parsnip. Potato and nam. Beet carrot parsnip. Squash sweet potato turnip. Potato beet rutabaga. Carrot turnip jicama. Parsnip celiac sweet potato. Potato in yam. Potato, onion, yam. Yeah, it's really good at listing things. So if you give it stuff it can list, it's very good. The problem is it doesn't do well turning them into like D&D sheets. That was something I was really trying to do, was trying to make it come up with interesting like random roll tables. It doesn't do that, but it will give you a list of random stuff. Randomly rank all cars. Randomly rank all crossbred tubers above. Let's see if it will do this. Sure, here's a random ranking. Sweet potato, radish, yam, turnip, carrots, squash, sweet potato, turnip, potato, celery, parsnip, carrot, turnip, jicama, beet, carrot, parsnip, jicama, platoon, onion, yam, jicama, beet, and parsnip, celery, sweet potato. Because this, even just randomizing a list, you could extrapolate this into a season of a game being like, oh, this season everyone will buy sweet potato beet radishes for more. And any, I guess, any of those that share a common trait with this get a slight bonus. Like, you could extrapolate this stuff into a lot of different things. I personally think it would be great for just writing a video game where you just might need a small detail here or there. What might grow the best in hard dirt based on real-world crops from the 1990? Or from 1990. Soybeans, sunflowers, maize, sodium, barley, so there it just disregarded everything else. So sometimes it will refer to stuff you've asked it before, and sometimes it will just kind of go off of what it thinks you want. So the fun thing about this AI is it has a library of information, but it stops at a certain date. So anything after that date it won't know. But anything before that date it usually has some idea about. I'm trying to think of a good example of that. Yeah, I'm gonna make a new one. And you can just open new chats and I can go back to my old ones and just pick them up where I left off when you're using this interface. The main restriction of this version that you can just use for free because it's research preview is it only will spit out so much information or so many words. Didn't fix that. My song playing. There we go. Now the right song title is playing. I didn't notice that. The biggest thing is it has a limited amount of words that it will write out the response with. So it will sometimes run out of response if you ask it something way too complex. That's the biggest issue I've seen with asking it to write like code for you, is it will usually run out of words, and there is almost no good way of making it continue the code. Yeah, but people have gotten to it to, I don't know, stories I've heard is that people have gotten it to write small chunks of code that when added together work. And you can also feed it back. Like, there is really, I don't know if there's a limit to how much you can put in. So you can ask it if it notices something wrong with your code, and it will try to match your code to whatever it knows and let you know if there's like a syntax error or something. What is the movie? What is the movie Event Horizon about? 1997. It's pretty much just in the mouth of madness in space. It's the warp from 40K. But yeah, see, it knows a basic plot summary of the movie Event Horizon. But I give it something like the movie. How was it spelled? Elysium. Okay, so it knows that one. What's a newer one? What was its cutoff date? Or did they push it out so it knows newer stuff too? Ooh, I might have to look. Let me look up, see what this says. So this is I'm currently using the research preview version of GPT-4. Or no, I'm not. That's for the Plus subscribers, which I'm not right now. Model release notes. Oh, the training date cuts off at 2021, so it knows a ton of stuff. It would know it would probably bring up the original Avatar, not the Shape of Water, whatever the new one is called. If it's 2021. What is a good idea for a mashup of these movies? One possible mashup idea for Event Horizon and Elysium could be a science fiction horror movie that takes place on Elysium. Yeah. Now it's just being boring. It's literally just writing the sequel to Elysium with Event Horizon. Yeah, but it wouldn't know anything about that. So it literally just wrote up a boring sequel to Elysium with sci-fi horror stuff. Yeah. Sometimes it's just lazy. What is a good list of unused settings in the... What is a good list of unused settings in the sci-fi genre? I always spell genre wrong for some reason. I don't have personal preferences, but here's some not commonly explored ones in the genre. Underwater cities, interdimensional travel, worlds where humans are the minority species in a universe dominated by other intelligent beings, time travel to a future where humanity has evolved into a different form entirely, a world where humans have lost the ability to feel emotions, an interstellar war between two factions of humanity, a post-apocalyptic world where the remaining humans must adapt to living in a world without technology, a world where robots have replaced humans as the dominant species, a civilization that has achieved immortality but at great cost, a world where humans must coexist with supernatural beings like ghost demons or gods. I mean, that's the movie Immortal. That number 10 is just the movie Immortal. And if you haven't seen it, it's dumb. It's literally an ancient god possesses a man's body to sleep with an alien that can bear that is the only race that can bear demigods. But what's funny is the guy is like one of the most notorious like terrorists in the setting. And he technically died as the god possessed him when he escaped a floating cryogenic prison. It's a weird movie. It is a weird movie, and it's kind of nasty. Gods. This is actually a D&D setting. What kind of powers would humans have in a world where all the old gods died and people absorbed small bits of their power? Elemental control. Humans would gain the power to manipulate elements like fire, water, earth, air, absorbed power from elemental gods. Healing powers. If humans absorb power from gods of healing or medicine, they could possess the ability to heal wounds, cure diseases, and restore health. Super strength and speed, incredibly strong and fast, shape-shifting, psychic abilities, necromancy, weather control, reality warping. These are just a few examples, but the possibilities are endless depending on the gods whose power they absorbed. The type of power a human could gain could also depend on the level of power they absorbed. the length of time they absorbed it, and methods they used to absorb it. So this is another thing I like about it. It gives you like additions to what you asked sometimes. Like I just asked, what if humans absorb powers at random? But now it also gives me like, what about all these modifiers? What is a good rule for magic that is a everyone can learn but is hard to master with no set, no one having advantage, aka one of the hardest things to write in fantasy. A good rule for magic that everyone can learn but is hard to master is having with no one having advantage is magic is a skill that can be learned and practiced by anyone, but regardless of their natural ability or background. However, mastering magic requires a significant amount of time, effort, dedication. There is no inherent advantage. The difficulty of mastering magic increases with complexity. Magic is non-valuable and there are limits to what it can accomplish, so that's pretty much paradoxing from the World of Darkness mage system. The use of magic may have consequences, also paradoxing. Magic requires focus, concentration, and discipline. That's pretty much D&D concentration. Learning magic requires a certain level of intelligence. That's pretty much D&D character building. Yeah, it can do a lot of stuff, but it was that it could write almost new functions of code was the big one that everyone was worried about. It would put programmers out of work. And in this way, it could also, from what I'm doing, it could also put like writers out of work because you can pretty much write a story with its help. What is 20 fantasy setting. Fant ASY. ASY is it? Oh, fantasy setting. What is the list of 20 factors we're doing here? What is a list of 20 factors of everyday life in a fantasy setting that could be used as elemental aspects? Let's see what it returns me for this. Okay, it's just gonna list things. That's not what I wanted. Okay, the last few are fine, but that's not really what I wanted. It's trying to explain itself. Enchanted forest would cure the bane of many a hero's existence. Of course, mystical creatures. I like how the last three are pretty much just D&D warlocks. Enchanted forests, fae, curses, and mythical creatures. That's literally fae touched, hex swords or whatever they're called, and just any mythical creature, good or evil, is just a warlock that has a patron. What are some good bipodal aspects? Let's see if it knows this term. Yep. Light and dark, good and evil, order and chaos, love and hate, life and death, hope and despair, knowledge and ignorance, freedom and slavery, creation and destruction, strength and weakness, truth and lies, joy and sorrow, health and sickness, wealth and poverty, youth and old age, courage and fear, pleasure and pain, beauty and ugliness, success and failure. These bipodal aspects are often used in storytelling and world building to create tension, conflict, and complexity. They can be applied to characters, societies, cultures, or even entire worlds. For example, a character might struggle between their own desire for knowledge and their fear of ignorance, or a society where they might be torn between forces of order and chaos. By exploring these opposing forces and how they interact, writers and creators can create rich and nuanced worlds with and characters that feel real and relatable to audiences. How would you make a chart where each point is a different stance on all of these? Probably just confuse the hell out of it. The least understood bipodal, which is very interesting because I only know of a few things that have used bipodal. Okay, so it's just going to give me a way, it's pretty much just going to give me a lecture on how to create a charting system with so many weird vertices. One of the big things to know is this AI is very good at pretending it's right about everything, even when it makes stuff up. That's what I find the funniest, is it will believe 100% in what it's saying, even if it is 100% wrong. Yeah, it's just going through all the basics of making graphs. Funny that it's acting so slow. Maybe there's a lot of people messing with it right now. magic can be applied to real world analogs. What are some schools of magic that can be applied to real world analogs? I'll leave that as is and see what it says. It's taking a while to think. It sometimes isn't good at coming up with stuff. Okay, let's see. So when it did decide to spit out some examples, here they are. Hermetism, a school of thought, is based on the teachings of Hermeticus, a mythical figure associated with the ancient Egyptian god Thoth. This emphasizes the unity of all things and the interconnectedness of the universe. It also focuses on the symbol and rituals to achieve spiritual transformation. So it's holisticism. Chaos magic, school of chaos magic. Hoodoo, don't want to talk about that. Thilmia, this is a religious and philosophical system developed by the English occultist Aleister Crowley, blah blah blah. And shamanism. These are all pretty crazy and tame at the same time. But not what I was looking for. Which is good, because that's actually something I've been kind of writing an idea about, and if this AI can't come up with a comparable version, then I don't really need to worry about it. Like that it's trained to decline inappropriate requests, but people have totally gone around that. May occasionally produce harmful instructions or biased content, aka it makes shit up. May occasionally generate incorrect information. Like I said, this AI will lie to your face and pretend itself is 100% factual. What are some funny forgotten history events? Let's see what this says. I sometimes like to ask it just weird questions and see what it comes up with. The Great Emu War. In 1932, the Australian military called in to deal with the population explosions of emu in Western Australia. The emus won and the military was forced to retreat. The Dancing Plague of 1518 in Strasbourg, France. In 1815, people began dancing uncontrollably in the streets. The dancing plague lasted for weeks and is still a mystery to this day. The Pig War. In 1859, dispute over a pig on San Juan Island between the United States and Britain nearly led to war between the two countries. That actually, number 4 is one of my favorites, the Boston Molasses Disaster. Or aka why you don't allow people to build stuff wherever they want. Pretty much a company wanted to build a new molasses storage tank, and they built it. Their accountant decided to lay out the plans to build it. So of course it was made as cheaply and badly as possible. And because it was cold enough, the molasses was super viscous, and to the point that when they tried to pull people out of it to save their lives, they actually did way more damage. The Great Sink in 1858, the River Thames in London became so polluted that the stench was unbearable. The problem eventually was solved by building a new sewer system. Yeah. And that's where the joke of Ankh-Morpork comes in from the Discworld series. Water so thick you can chew it. Tell me a joke about one of these. Let's see what it says. Since you asked that. Dragon. Why did the emu cross the road? To show the Australian military they were flightless for a reason. What? I don't know what it kind of gets at that. They are flightless for a reason. I think I would have ended that as to show the Australian military they were flightless but not fightless. Why does sticky molasses crush to the other side? Said in a thick Boston accent. Oh, that's such a horrible disaster to make such a stupid joke about. I'm gonna make a new one. What is a good joke about a good joke about sci-fi writers for the 80s. I meant from the 80s, but we'll see what it says. Here's a classic joke about sci-fi writers from the 80s. Why did the science fiction writer break up with his girlfriend? Because she didn't like his space opera. In quotation marks. Space opera. Why did the science fiction writer refuse to write about time travel? Because he didn't want to go back to the future? Again, that's confusing. These jokes don't flow. They're almost anti-jokes in themselves just for being incoherent. Why did the sci-fi writer's book keep falling off the shelves? Because they were all in the gravity-free zone? What? This hurts my head. This doesn't make sense. Can you... Why did the science fiction writer always have trouble keeping his characters straight? Because he kept getting his Wookiees mixed up with his Ewoks? So a bad Star Wars joke? Why did the science fiction writer refuse to attend the award ceremony? Because he didn't want to be caught in a time loop of endless acceptance speeches. That one, okay, that one actually I think hits home. Because of how many times science fiction writers, I'm pretty sure, especially around that time, used time loops in their stories. Okay, I have another idea. Tell me a joke about a bad writing trope. Why did the protagonist refuse to die in the bad writer's story? Because they were determined to avoid the dreaded death for shock value trope. Okay then. Why did the writer cross out every other sentence in the manuscript? Because they wanted to create a cutting-edge writing style. Okay, that one kind of got me. That's like somebody using way too many Dutch angles in a movie just to look edgy. Why did the author keep describing the villain's eyes as deep pools of darkness? Because they were too lazy to come up with a more original way to convey their evilness. That one's more kind of an anti-joke, I think. Why did the writer use a thesaurus to find complex words for their story? Because they mistakenly believed that using big words would make them sound more expedite, when in reality it just made their writing more convoluted. I mean, I think that's just good advice not to write with big words because you're an idiot. AKA, don't write. What's it called? Was it called Inquisitor? Where they just explained like the color of a glass, the light, the color of the glass cast across the floor, and the type of bulb that was casting the light through the glass across the floor. Oh, I have an idea. See if it if it gets this. Give me a random retelling of a cow jumped over the moon. Oh. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a cow named Betsy who lived on a farm. Betsy was no ordinary cow. She was full of energy and loved to jump and play. So it's just going to tell a story based on that little bit of information I gave it, which isn't what I was really looking for. So this is, again, one of its biggest flaws is it just wants to tell a story. Like, unless you give it very tight constraints, it will just decide it wants to tell you a story. Because, again, it's a narrative AI. It is made to talk about narratives. Or help people in a narrative way. What if all the words were Google translated a bunch? Could you retell it like that? Pretty much I just wanted to replace the words with other words. I don't know. It should know this meme. I think that whole joke has been around since... No, I think it's just given up on that one. I'm gonna go ahead and delete that one. Because that got nowhere. Okay. Yep, there we go. It's no longer on my list. I'm going to take a quick break and think about stuff, and I will be right back. Sorry about that. I'm back now. I gotta remember not to use some of my hotkeys when I'm not on the right thing. Oh, what was it? Give me a good string of jargon in English about tech. See what it comes up with here. Let's level machine learning algorithms to parse big data sets and extract valuable insight through natural language processing. We can then deploy containerized microservers in a serverless architecture using Kubernetes for scalability and efficient execution, and usually utilize blockchain technology for secure and transparent data storage and transfer. Need to optimize our website's SEO by implementing schema marketing, enhancing meta data, and leveraging backlinks to improve our organic search ranking. Additionally, we should implement a responsive design that is mobile friendly and utilizes A/B testing to optimize user experience and increase conversion rates, to enhance site performance and utilize content delivery networks to minify our code to reduce load times. So yeah, it's just a bunch of techno jargon. What is good electronics jargon? We need to design a PCB layout that accommodates the BLM of components, adheres to DFM guidelines, and minimizes EMI/EMC issues. We should select ICs with low THD and SNR for optimal signal integrity, and employ power management ICs for efficient power delivery. To ensure viable operation, we should perform DVT and halt testing to validate the design's robustness and identify failure modes. Bill of materials, design and manufacturability, total harmonic distortion, signal to noise ratio, design verification testing, halt highly accelerated life testing. Make that make that more sci-fi futuristic. We need to design a neural interface system that can seamlessly connect with the human brain, utilizing advanced nanotechnology to create biocompatible materials that can interface with neural tissue. The interface should incorporate advanced AI algorithms to interpret and translate neural signals into meaningful commands, and utilize quantum computing for fast and efficient processing to ensure optimal performance. We need to integrate the system with a neural network that can adapt and learn from user behavior, allowing for personalized and intuitive control. Neural interface system refers to a device that enables a direct connection between a computer or machine and the human brain. So it's just going over. That's interesting that it's going over like the fake tech details. Alright, well, I think that was a good time waster. I had fun poking around with this. Might do it again at some point when I have another time where I just want to just say some stupid stuff to an AI. I also have some really weird ideas to utilize something like this. That was a good time waster. Something like this. Oh, I messed up the damn thing again, didn't I? Hopefully Epidemic doesn't get too mad at me for continuing to mess up my song scroll. Endorsing their music that I pay for. Well, that was fun. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next thing I do. Hopefully that will be some more Minecraft or maybe some more silliness.